Hey gang, John Baccarella here with your Lake St. Clair Ice Report. It is Wednesday, December 10th. Water temperature at Belle Isle is, oh my gosh, 33 degrees, which is down from 36 degrees at the last report. But generally, we don't see 33 degree water until, like well into the ice season. A lot of times, the end of January when the lake is like, if it gets totally covered. So that'll give you an idea of kind of where we are overall with the season, how it's progressed so rapidly. The 10-day forecast is almost a remake of the last 10-day forecast, where we've got the warmest temps out there right now, and then for like the next 5 days or so, we're going to have really cold weather again, and then another uptick with another storm front coming in, and then hopefully another crash after that, and that's what it looks like is going to happen. So, and that's worked really well for us so far. So we'll keep her going that way. Now, one of the things to bear in mind about those swings when we get those warm fronts that do come in is if you can get out and fish, like right up on the day of when that front is coming in, or as close as you can fish to when that front's coming in, that's normally when the fish activity really peaks. So just kind of keep that in mind going forward, since we are on that kind of a roller coaster with extreme cold and then these brief warm-ups, but pretty significant warm-ups when we do get them. So let's talk about first of all, that snow that we got was kind of scary actually, because I thought if we gotten 4 to 6 inches of snow on the existing ice and didn't get the rain on the end of that, we could have been in trouble. But that's not what happened at all. It actually kind of everything worked to our advantage. So here locally we got a couple 3-4 inches of snow, and then we got rain and warmer temperatures afterwards, and it all compacted. So everywhere I went around the lake was pretty much the same, just slush out on the ice that was out there already. And if you step outside right now and check, like here, we're already well down into the 20s, and even places where we shoveled, those snow piles are already pretty much hard already. So they're frozen already, and I would expect the same thing is going to happen out there on the lake. So let's start out with the ice report. And first place I stopped at was the Selfridge boat launch, which is at the end of M59 Hall Road. And amazingly enough, that main lake ice out there, it doesn't happen very often where it freezes like what it did now. And it's pretty much continuous ice all the way down to the Air National Guard base, down into the corner by where we call the barracks or the seaplane ramp, all the way down on the end. The ice extends out as far as you could see from shore. Nobody was really on it yet, okay? So can't give you a thickness. I didn't walk out there and check it, but just know that over the next, by the weekend, the next 3 days, we're going to have extreme cold temperatures, and all that slush that's on top is going to freeze. So you're going to add a couple of inches very likely to what was already there. So a lot of that ice is going to be fishable by this weekend. Obviously, you're going to want to bring your spud, or I always talk about this, the speedy spud, right? So wherever you're going this weekend, somebody needs to bring a spud bar, because this is just too early in the season to go without. I didn't use an auger anywhere today. I only used the spud, partially because I was really trying to cover the lake quickly, but also because it's all new ice. So I'm not walking anywhere just carrying an auger. I'm going to be bringing the spud with me no matter where I go at this time of the year. So out in front of Selfridge, that was the most continuous ice I've seen out there in many, many years. There wasn't even like a pressure crack or a heave or anything, and that extended all the way down in towards Cotton Road. And, that's just awesome for this time of the year. So let's hope that it locks up tight and you guys will be able to get your machines on there sooner than later and be able to make that big run down into the corner by the Air National Guard base. But that area is looking good, and it could be very fishable by this weekend. Now, from there, driving all the way up into Fairhaven, not so good. Okay, so all the way from like Brandenburg all the way up along the shoreline. That main lake ice really took a beating with all of the winds and everything that we got this last week. Even though we had the cold temperatures, it just kept getting throttled by the wind and the wave action up there. Now, all the canals look fine. So all the canals all the way up into Fairhaven and all the way up to the raft, there was guys on those canals. They've been fishing them for the last several days. And the same thing for those canals as everywhere else. They were all slushed, and that slush is going to freeze. It's probably froze right now, and it's just going to add thickness to the ice that was already there and was already fishable. So next stop would be out in front of Bobby Mack's. And again, looking out there, you've only got, 100 yards of ice or so out in front of Bobby Mack's. And then looking down towards the Fairhaven boat launch and towards the raft, it's also, very minimal ice, just shore ice around the edges. And with the water levels as low as they are, I don't know how great that's going to be. Although you guys do know that those perch will come up underneath that ice. So if sometimes when you have limited ice like that, it can be the best fishing. So I'm definitely not going to say that that's not going to produce fish up there. Just saying that the ice is very limited. There was nobody on the ice there all the way until we got to the raft. So when I got up to the raft, looking out from the raft, again, you maybe got 150 yards of ice or so. There was a shanty out there, and you could see that guys were out on that ice and had fished it. And one of the local guys that was there I was talking to in the parking lot said that when he was out the day before, that he said that they had 4 inches of ice there. So, and I believe that. That's not hard to believe. That ice has been there for about a week, that near shore ice. The important thing about that ice there is I could see tracks where people were actually making their way over to that marina to the right that a lot of the guys like to fish. So that should be a go for sure. But if you do go up to that area of the lake to fish this weekend, just know that if it looks like new ice out there, it is new ice. Because we do have a couple of really calm nights coming with low temperatures. And my guess is that is going to lock up that north end out in front of the raft and out in front of Fairhaven, but that's going to be brand new ice. Now, that doesn't mean that it won't be fishable by this weekend. It just means that ice is definitely going to be thinner than this older ice that we have that's going to be all white and slushy. So if you do go up there, just know that if it looks like new ice, it is new ice, and it's going to be much thinner. So now let's slide back down towards our neck of the woods where the store is at. And we're looking, Metro Marsh, the guys have been fishing back in Metro Marsh for about a week now, okay? They've been getting some really big gills out of that marsh area. I've heard some stories of some gills that they broke off, trying to pull them up onto the ice. But we did have a 10-inch gill come in from there. We also had a 10-inch gill, a new leader actually, on the leaderboard for bluegills. Colin got this 10-inch gill, but his gill, it was only like 0.87 pounds, so under a pound. And one of the other 10-inch gills that came out of Metro Marsh was just a teens lighter than that one as well. But the only reason why they bring that up is that normally when these fish hit 10 inches, they usually are right around a pound. So that's 2 gills that we got in that 10-inch class already this year that were under a pound. So that's kind of strange. And I double checked the scale, so it's not the scale. I've got a bottle that I put on there, a bottle of water that we know the weight of, so we are always verifying that the scale is working properly. So just kind of strange that those gills seem like they're weighing light this year for their size. So maybe that'll change once we get going into the winter. But anyways, guys were out there on Metro Marsh. That ice has been froze for a while. Several inches is what I'm hearing from those guys there. And again, with the slush on top, that's going to freeze. It's just going to make it thicker. I did walk out at the basin a little bit. That ice, when I checked it earlier in the week, wasn't quite good enough to walk out on, but it was today when I was there, and same deal there. That slush that's up on top, there was quite a bit of water on that ice too, so it was sinking in with the weight of the snow on top. That also happens when we get these heavy, wet snow events over relatively thin ice already. It'll weight that that ice down, water will come up on top, and then that'll freeze. That's also the way it builds thickness even faster when we get like a snow event like this. So Metro Basin, if you're somebody that needs 6 inches of ice before you go out, that may not want to, that may not be the case for you for this weekend, for places like the Basin or the main lake or a lot of places on the lake. But there's going to be a lot of places also on the lake that are going to have several inches of pretty good fresh ice for the guys that are used to fishing the early season like this. So they'll feel comfortable on that. But Metro Basin froze pretty much 100%, the whole basin area, and also the 2 marinas closer to the lake were also froze too. So, and that's just going to get better going into the weekend. Now, everybody wants to hear about the day sail, so I'm not going to make you wait till the end. So, looking out into the day sail, off of the day sail ramp, a ton of ice out there, all the way to the point, and then all the way down to by the Crocker boat launch, or all the way down to the 400 Club, actually. All the way down in front of Gino's. There was ice out there when I checked it today. Now, when I made my drive today, it was about 1 o'clock, okay? So we had just gotten into the wind shift. So it had been blowing out of the south with this warm front and the storm system that came in. And this afternoon, and going into dark, it was blowing pretty darn hard offshore, kind of a northwest wind. So I'm pretty sure that we will have lost some ice out there off of the Metro Park area and probably down around the 400. So I won't know for sure how much we actually did lose until tomorrow. So if there's a significant change, look on our Facebook page and I will explain whatever changes I see out there. Yeah, so I can pin a comment on YouTube and update that way. I don't expect we're going to lose, that we will have lost everything out there by any stretch, but I do expect that we will have lost some of that ice that was way out. But we had a lot of ice out there, guys, so you couldn't even see the open water from day sail. So, but I'm sure we lost some with that wind just because of the direction and how hard it blew. But it's already laid down out there now, so we've already kind of withstood the worst of the wind, and we should have a good idea when I check it tomorrow if it did much damage. I did walk out there, and it was a couple of good hard whacks with the Speedy Spud before I could draw water. So, and again, same deal. Lots of slush. It's going to freeze. It's going to even be thicker. It'll be easier walking now than what it was because that snow's kind of smoothed everything out. So that ought to be a good thing. So next stop then is down by the Crocker Road boat launch, looking out into that bay. Looking out into that bay, that entire bay there. It's a small bay, but it's all frozen. A lot of you guys like to fish that early ice for the perch as well. The ice extended out just a little ways past the points there, which is where the drop-off is. And again, with the calm, cold nights that we got coming between now and the weekend, I'm expecting that water out there in the front is going to lock up too. So same thing applies there. If it looks like new ice, it is new ice. The old ice is going to have that slushy look to it and be very opaque. It's not going to be like black ice. So now I also got into Beacons Cove, drove down to the point there just to get a better look and to kind of survey everything. And ice extended out a little bit in front of Beacons, which is really amazing for this time of the year. It was probably 50 to 100 yards out in front off of the point, and then draw a line all the way out farther and then down towards the point at Metro, and that's where the ice was. So I think that if the ice is thick enough, you guys are going to probably be able to get out to that area that you were last year for those perch and walleye. You're just going to have to check with the spud and see if it's going to be thick enough by then. It's a pretty good poke to where you guys were at last year, but there was definitely ice cover over that area when I was down there today, and that was before dark and before that wind really picked up. So keep our fingers crossed that we didn't lose that ice, and it could be showtime out there for you walkers if you want to make that long walk with the spud bar out there. Let's see. Other business, we did get the second shipment of the Striker suits in, so they are in the store now. get them while they last. They went fast last time. So also got another shipment of augers. So I've got lasers, 5-inch, 6-inch, 7 and 8s in there. Got all kinds of light flights and plenty of augers and spud bars. And also, remember that perch sign up for the big perch contest. We're going to keep that open all the way till the end of December. So even though you guys are going to be out there fishing now, if you're catching fish, you're going to have to bring them in for the free contest, because we're not going to start that big perch contest until January 1st. So there's going to be a lot of guys signing up, so it should be a great pot this year for that. It should be be well worth your while to get signed up, and now you got plenty of time to do that. Man, I think that's about it. Got ice out there, guys. It's amazing. So we're going to be on the ice for Christmas, and the extended forecast looks great. So, get out there, enjoy it, be careful, use the spud bar, okay? We don't want to lose anybody, and pay attention, and if there's anything to be updated, I will update tomorrow. So have a great one, and we'll see you at the shop this weekend. Hey gang, if you like our content, hit the little subscribe button and the bell icon, and you'll be notified as soon as we put out new stuff.